Hi, I'm Suki.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic.
Ding, ding, ding. Hi, Suki.
Hi, Claire. We're talking solar plexus today.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year to you, too.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Very excited to put 2023 behind me.
Yeah, I mean, like 2024 is totally going to be a shit show, but I feel personally like we're all going to do really well. Like individually, it's going to be a great year, but collectively, I mean, we're still going to be in some shit show. But I feel like we've been in such shit show that we're like, whatever, bring it. Fuck you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Based on what's been going on with the world, there's no way that spontaneously 2024 is going to be like a peaceful moment.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so let's talk about the solar plexus though, since we really could use a good collective solar plexus to get through everything.
Yeah.
You know, since it's all about our will and our ability to move forward and formulate our vital energy and
make things happen.
Also integrity. It's all about integrity, which I really like that word for solar plexus.
Oh yeah, that's
it's
nice.
Knowing yourself. It's believing in yourself. It's standing up for yourself and being strong within who you are and what you need for yourself to love yourself.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let's just continue on with like the little with the basics.
Basic.
The little.
Where is that?
The solar plexus attribute. It is located basically
between your sternum.
Yeah.
It's right above your, I think it's like between your sternum, so like the bottom of your center ribs
or,
and
yeah, like right
your
in
belly
the middle
button.
Yeah. Okay. So it's right there.
In acupuncture, that's called Ren 12.
Oh, okay. That's helpful. Love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool that you practice as an acupuncturist, but you have kind of mostly moved into energy work.
Yeah. Well, acupuncture is energy work. It's just using needles.
I think it's cool. It just kind of exhibits how powerful energy work is. Needles or not.
Yeah, word.
Whether you're in person or not.
It's totally true. Yeah. Right. It was one of those things. I needed the piece of paper to be able to do it. So I got it. And then I'm like, oh, all right. Now, now that I have the paper,
move on to something that
let's
works.
get wild.
Yeah.
Or something that, I mean, I think acupuncture is amazing, but
it is.
It's just like the rules and regulations aren't for me.
Plus, you save money on needles. Yeah. Zero overhead.
Zero. Well, that's totally a lie. You know, my energy is really costly. Anyway, so back to third chakra. So the color, yellow.
Color is yellow. The element is fire.
Astrologically, it's the sun.
Very cool. Some things that it's representative of are power, ambition, passion, purpose, ability to transform, ability to manifest. Vision that comes from our third eye gets manifested through another word for it is the Manipura chakra. So a vision that comes from our third eye gets manifested through our Manipura. And I personally, when we talk about chakras, love to know about what represents an out of balance chakra and what represents an imbalanced chakra. So one of the things, like if you have too much energy in your third chakra, you could be manipulative, egoistic. In our research over the past couple of weeks, I heard this woman say that most lawyers and small business owners are gonna have a little bit of excess here.
They have to push through it. Yeah.
Go, take action, make. Yeah,
Yeah.
push, make. I've definitely dabbled with that.
And the deficiency is insecurity and needing approval from others to know who you are.
Yeah, not a good sense of self and lack of motivation often can kind of come from that. But a balanced version is like
I got me.
you have found a balance with power, powerful within yourself, but you don't need outward gratification to feel good. You are full of purpose and full of passion, but not willing to set aside your values to make
Right.
something happen. Um, not willing to trample others or manipulate. You have a great ability to manifest too if this chakra is
Yeah.
in alignment.
Yeah. I love this chakra. It's been really fun.
Why don't you marry it?
Okay. I will. You're such a nerd. Yeah, it feels so good to be in it. Like it feels so like substantial. And I think one of the reasons that I'm like, yeah, is because I know that it used to be incredibly weak. Like I would jump from
Mhm.
like 2 to 4, like when going down them, it was like there was just a pit.
Yeah, why? Just energetically for you, or like why would when you say you would jump, what was happening?
Well, I mean, not like I just know that like I could access my fourth chakra and I could access my second chakra. Third, it was just like, I don't know, whatever. I'll just skip over it. Like it didn't,
Yeah, just kind of
yeah,
like a blank
and it
space.
didn't, um, and that felt at the time that I was starting to do this kind of work, it felt too intimidating to try and access it. I'm like, well, I
Yeah,
just want to access the ones I can then. And
yeah. Okay, can I ask you
sure.
for clarification for educational purposes? Like when you
hmm
say access, what do you even mean?
When I was doing meditations to go into different chakras, like when I learned how to ground, I went into my root chakra and grounded.
Mhm.
And then I was taught how, going into your second. Like I was taught kind of how, where I would, and the third chakra just always seemed, well, whatever, I'll get to that one.
So going in a chakra to you is like,
It's intention. I mean, it's the intention of I'm closing my eyes and I
yeah,
am intentionally feeling into that space in my body, and
yeah,
looking for slash feeling for that energy, and then allowing whatever it is to show up. Like when I have been doing solar plexus meditations the last week or so, the I'm actually there is a yellow flower like opening like really
mhm.
big, and it's just like this big huge sunny flower, and then the meditation continues or whatever. But it's but before it just wouldn't be anything.
And I guess I'm trying to like get across that like there
A
are
million.
probably a million different ways to fo- focus on your individual chakras, and you can kind of try to try things out. You can decide if you want to see a yellow orb, or it's like I guess it's suggested to work with the color of the chakra because that's the vibrational thing. But sometimes
Totally.
people see just
Whatever they
always
see.
see
Totally.
purple
Yeah.
there, and that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever shows
like
up is
whatever.
perfect. Right.
But if you're beginning, you can picture, you can choose to envision like a yellow orb or a yellow flower, or like, sometimes when I'm going through my chakras, it's a really kind of scattered thing, and like it's like
Mhm.
a slot machine where it's like, what is this going to land on? How I choose
Totally.
to focus. Like,
Mhm.
like
Bingo.
one time, yeah, it's like, okay, there, it's a blue spindle. I don't fucking know why, but here we are, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just
Right.
just kind of follow it,
It is
but
what it
then
is.
you can kind of just like sense into it. But that's
Right.
really cool that you were kind of like skipping over this one.
I mean, I guess the thing that I like most about the fact that I had been skipping over it is I'm so aware of how strong it feels now, because I'm aware of how strong all of that energy is now within me. That
Mhm.
energy of like, I've got me, like I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I don't feel I really don't feel that insecure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know, I know there can be improvements, but I mean, it's just like, well, I am totally cool with what is right now because it's the reality of the situation. And, of
Yeah.
course, there's more stuff to work towards, but I don't feel like I have to, like, I used to really, really really need, like assurance from other people that I mean, the whole thing of even, I mean, I guess still, I love having pieces of paper, but even doing this, podcast has stopped me from needing pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Um, like I feel like
You're just
I
learning.
am learning. And also it's like, all right, there's a self-assurance, and I know, where I'm at, in my integrity and my strength and
Yeah. So, like, what yesterday we were kind of when we were having a failed attempt at recording this podcast
mhm,
because I'm in a remote location and the Wi-Fi
right.
was crazy, but
Also, all of those beautiful birds that are chirping are
I know,
lovely.
enjoy the birds.
Me
There's nothing
too.
I can do about them. But so you were talking about, I don't know if you want to put this in, but like you were talking about you, you're in your life and you're okay and you're in a wheelchair.
Sure. Right. Oh,
Can you
yeah.
talk about
Right.
that a little as it relates to your third chakra?
Totally. Yeah. So the other night I was thinking about, or, I was reading Carolyn Meiss's Anatomy of the Spirit, and this, idea of third chakra really having to do with being comfortable with yourself and feeling, secure no matter the what. And
Yeah.
just I recognized that like a couple of years I was, I don't know, complaining about some shit or whatever. And I think I was complaining about like MS and disability. And I was
Mhm.
talking to a friend, and I was like, but I love my job, and I have incredible friends and an amazing family, and I have a roof over my head and food, and like I can be really positive and laugh at
Yeah.
shit and blah blah blah. And so it was like, oh, my life's rad. I just also have MS. I'm just also in a wheelchair. And I guess that
Yeah.
was one of those things that made me be like, oh, your third chakra is good, because
You're doing good.
I'm doing good. Like I definitely care that I'm in a wheelchair. I totally wish I was not. However, I still am exactly who I am and want to do all of the things that I want to do. And I still embrace every part of myself regardless. And I'm not worried about how other people view me.
Yeah.
Except I
That's
gotta
awesome.
say, when I'm getting on an airplane and they put me in the aisle chair and they strap me down and I look like Hannibal Lecter, that's the only
Ugh.
time that I'm like, everyone's staring at me because I'm broken. But I'm like, but then I just start imagining that I'm Hannibal Lecter and I'll eat their face. So it's okay.
Oh my God. Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
But you know
Third
what,
chakra.
Claire? Psycho. What's the psycho chakra? So few people can say what you just said. I mean, not about the wheelchair and eating people's faces, but I just mean I think it's really hard to come by not caring what people think, and it is
Yeah.
awesome, and I think should be aspirational to everyone because you can be a better person. The less you care about other people's opinions, the better person you can be.
It's true. It really does help. Well, it helps you make decisions that are true to yourself instead of anyone else, which means you can do them fully.
Yeah, it's cool.
Thanks.
Okay. So, we have listeners right now that are saying to themselves, oh, fuck, my third chakra is definitely not in a balanced state.
That's okay.
Yeah. Step one, it's
That's
okay.
okay. It's totally okay. It's still there. You have one.
Yeah. I think acceptance is limitless potential. It's a ball of energy that's connected to some glands and shit, and it
Exactly.
stores emotions, and you can be in charge. Um, but do you have advice on how to start to balance and work with a third chakra that might be like, you might be like, you know what, I'm really fucking insecure. I think about what people think about me all the time, and it makes me uncomfortable and act weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what would you say?
Well, I guess actually the first thing I would say was if nobody was around, what would you want to do? Like, if you didn't have anyone else's opinion, what would yours be?
Hmm.
And just know what it is. Just
Yeah,
knowing what your own what your own desire and motivation is number one, I think.
I love that. Yeah.
But then
Hmm.
you're gonna, when you sit down to meditate, I would say get a citrine crystal. It's
Hmm.
insanely activating. And make your intention of the meditation to be to strengthen your third chakra. Because I really do
Hmm.
think that our intention when we meditate or do anything is insanely important in making it a real thing and
Yeah.
and something that we can access easily. And so have that be the intention. And it's a slow roll, like when I was not having, third chakra, it was like I was
Hmm.
29. Like, it was 20 years ago. So I've
Yeah.
worked really hard to get to this place.
Yeah.
Like if I had been in
Totally.
a wheelchair back then, I wouldn't feel the same way. I mean, I'd still be
No.
weird and positive in a strange way, but I might be faking a bunch of it. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just I mean, it's like this is I guess one of those things is you're alive right now and you're going to be assumingly and hopefully for a while. And so give yourself some time, be patient with yourself and just you wanting to do it is a lot of energy. Just you
Yeah.
saying to yourself, like, I really want to activate the energy of my third chakra. And I really want to, grow into that. Like, dope. You just opened it like crazy, like immediately.
Yeah.
It's so important. So, yeah. And it's with any of the chakras. I mean, it's like we have them all. We have energy, shoved in all of them, or sometimes it feels like it's
Yep.
totally depleted. Sometimes it feels like a hornet's nest. And it's like, and that's
Yeah.
cool. Like, you're doing great just by showing up to yourself. That's like, I think one of the most important things is you're showing up to yourself and for yourself. Third chakra just turned on.
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
You're coming to awareness of your energy body is the first step in a really long, awesome, blossoming journey. And it's
Totally. And it's going to keep changing
forever. You're not going to be done. So,
no.
That's why we're kind of doing this, just to not necessarily speak out of authority, but just to let you, just to bear witness to the learning, right?
Yeah, totally. I found a podcast.
Oh, yeah. This is what I was going to talk about. The meditations.
Yeah. So So I found this podcast that has these 15-minute meditations. And this woman, I looked her up, and she's a sound healer outside of Pittsburgh. And it will be in the notes.
Yeah. We'll link these meditations.
And it's 15 minutes. And so I've done it every day for 3 days.
Yep.
And the first day, it was just like, yeah, this is awesome. The second day, it was like, whew, that kind of hurts. Like, it felt like really in my body. Like, it felt like it was like cracking things open, like physically, which is for me, is great, but it's also very distracting.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is a thing. Okay. So then it also made me feel nauseous. And
yeah, you're moving stiff.
Yeah, totally.
I always get nauseous.
And really high. Like afterwards I was like, fuck, I am stoned. And it was like a 15-minute meditation, not even maybe. So
wait, I should note, these are chakra specific meditations that she has on her podcast. So she has short meditations for everyone, and it's a few words and mostly just amazing sound. And it's highly recommended to wear earbuds because it has like a tonal thing that bounces back and forth between your ears. Yeah. And it is truly engaging.
I mean, it's awesome.
Like, we'll link it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably the best guided meditation, or the most enjoyable guided meditation I've ever done, because a lot of people, when they do meditations, are just like annoying and like, just like woo woo and off-putting. Like, I can't look inward.
No, it's awesome.
But this is just like a few words. You envision a ball of light, and then you go wherever you need to go, and the music does not suck.
It leads you. Yeah, it's great. No, it's beautiful, and she sings also with it tonally, and it's beautiful. Anyway, so we're super into it. And
how'd you find that, by the way?
Well, so
snooping around.
So Eric and I went to my mom's, and we were looking up something. I was trying to find Spotify on her TV and see if it was linked up so I could just play music in the background. But it wasn't. But then Eric came in, saw the Spotify, turned to my mom and said, "Oh, is Claire showing you the podcast?"
Oh, no.
And I was in the kitchen and heard this, and I was just like, fuck. And so then my mom's like, "Oh, you have a podcast?" And I'm like, yeah. And Eric just turns to me and mouths, "I'm so sorry." and so then she's like, "Well, what's it called?" And I said, "It's called Getting Psychic." And she's like, "Are you psychic?" To which I then said, "I don't know, sort of."
You just totally
You can listen if you want.
That's so funny.
So anyway.
Whatever, Mom.
It was really funny. And so I don't know. Maybe I gotta go. Can we go now, Eric? And so but so then she listened to one or two of them maybe, and she told me she thought they were nice.
Not a word I would use to
then she asked me,
especially the early ones. Like, come on, that's really generous.
Well, it's nice. I can't remember what or maybe she said neat. I don't know. It was one of those words. But I mean, like, it was, whatever. It was positive. But then basically she was like, do you have any podcast recommendations to teach me how to meditate? And I said, well, there's tons of apps or whatever, but I don't know. But then I was like, oh, I wonder. And there are shit tons of podcasts that are meditations and somebody leading you through meditation. So then I put in, solar plexus,
Yeah.
chakra meditation, and there was a bunch. And this woman was in there. And
Yeah, my only complaint was that it was too short. Like, and I never feel that way about guided. Okay, so the podcast is called Reclaim Your Power, and it's by Gabby Miller, and it's rad. So the solar plexus one is number 29, and it's a 15-minute solar plexus meditation. Reclaim your power. Enjoy. You're welcome. Thank you, Claire.
Great.
Okay.
You are welcome.
Here's something that I need to get into.
Gabby.
That, of understanding chakras will continue to unfold forever for us. But that's partly why we decided it was really important to go one by one. But check this out, friends. Chakras do not act separately. They can only be separated intellectually.
Right.
So I heard this on this interview with this woman called Deborah King, called Chakras and Healing Trauma. And
which I'm just going to throw out there. Suki sent me the link to this, and I was like,
so weird.
I watched this last night. Just randomly, we both watched the same.
But it was really good. And her relationship with chakras and the way that she looked at them, I think was really cool. And I do like, I'm realizing that everyone has different perspectives, and by learning from different sources, you can accumulate and evolve your relationship with them. But understanding that they aren't just individual organs that you get to like operate on energetically, which is almost kind of how I've been treating them so far, that they are one, I'll call it an entity, and they work together. So here was one of the fundamental, like really big, important things that I learned in the past week's research was that, okay, the chakras are connected and there's stuff in between them. Like there are so many interrelated chakras. Like someone told me this week that like an issue that I was having medically had to do with the relationship between my third eye and my throat chakra. Like, like there's interplay. So here's the deal with the first three chakras and how they function together. So chakra 1, the root, represents gravity, which gives rise to movement, which is represented by chakra 2, the sacral chakra. And movement is the force of chakra 2, resulting in the energy force of chakra 3. So they are like, the first three are considered to be like in the earth category, or the how would you say that? Like the higher chakras are more like celestial stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess corporeal
of the body.
Like the more like it has to do of the body and also like of the experience. It's external coming in and how it affects us. As a like third is like, here I am, and then you get to like, and then you move your energy out. It's like 1 and 2 you're bringing in, 3 is do I have me? Do I have me? And then you're like, I got it. And then you get to like start sharing.
For that reason, because it's about how you put the energy of 1 and 2, your foundational being, into the world. Yeah.
Action. Totally. like how you
And
have.
like I don't know if you've had any revelations in this like process, but I have certainly been like, wow, over the past year, like last year was insane. There were so many huge learning lessons for me in business. And also, obviously, we started this, and so many huge learning lessons for me spiritually. And at this moment in time, nothing's finite, but at this point in the evolution of all of it, I am so much more accepting and in the flow of whatever happens
Mhm.
business wise than I was a year ago. It's very notable because for so many years I was just like push, push,
Mhm.
push, 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 like excessive energy in solar plex. Like I have to, da, 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 da. And then also
Go,
this
go,
kind
go,
of
go,
like,
go.
yes, I
Mhm.
just feel like there was, as a result of imbalances, like excessive energy. But now I'm sure it will continue to evolve, but I feel
Mm.
so much more accepting of what will happen. And I'm talking about that
Yeah.
department specifically, like business and work.
Mhm.
I'm still doing the same things and I still have the same goals, but it's not overwhelming. And I don't feel like
Yeah.
this
That's so
huge
awesome.
crazy push. And I really do feel like it's make I'm stepping out of the way and things work better. So that's 1 year,
Totally.
like, but that's
Yeah, it's
all
awesome.
the solar plexus in my opinion. But so okay, so Deborah
Mhm.
King says each chakra is like a charging station for emotional material to come in and out. Chakras are really powerful for people to learn about because they find out it's their emotions that are powering everything. It's not something else in their body that's making everything work.
Mm.
It's actually their emotional material. When we block our emotions, we stop the movement of one or more of these little wheels of light. And that soon impacts our bodies because if you're repressing heartache, for example, eventually the energy in your chest is going to come to a halt. And that's not good for your arteries, veins, heart organ itself. You want movement, you want energy coming in and out.
Right? Like they're separate entities. Every chakra has the
Yes.
energy of all the other chakras in it. It's just this is
Yeah.
this guy's role, like at this part this is what's happening. But when you started talking about that, I all of a sudden was like, oh my god, the vagal nerve. Like, so there is a nerve that runs, like the like hub of it is like at the base of your brain, and then it runs through your entire body, and it affects your autonomic nervous system. It's fight or flight. It affects, your heart. It affects all of these things. And I just was like, hold up. And I just looked at a picture and I'm like, this is
Hmm.
the route for all of the chakras. Like, it's wild just looking. And that's something I've always, it's like we think about and we talk about all of this energetics as like these invisible things that are in our lives, but like they're represented physically, actually, if we look at it that way. It's the same thing with meridians. It's the same thing with so many parts of our being is like, well, we can't see it, so we don't think it's real. But it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, you just don't know how to look at it. Because, like, if you look at that line, like, you see them all of those major glands, the pituitary, the pineal, the thymus,
Yeah.
your heart, your guts, like all of that, your kidneys, like they're all lined up in
Yeah.
this
I'm
very
looking at
specific
the
way,
vagus nerve right now.
physically and also energetically. The vagus nerve is it's another thing I'm gonna want to learn.
I know there are like breathing things you can do.
Yes, lots. It's really somatic, like lots of somatic work, like breath, certain touch, things you can do. I just watched a little video about when you're feeling like really freaked out, like to take a cold ice pack and I mean, this sounds like it would just feel terrible, but to actually put it on your heart and it'll literally like cool you down, like, and
Trick.
ground you, which I was like, "Oh, that's a
Yeah.
nice little trick."
So the one thing in that Deborah King video that we both happened to watch that I thought was really cool
Mhm.
was she was talking about like trauma or being surprised or shocked, whether just personally or collectively. Like your root chakra, you pull it up. And so you kind of uproot. She's like energetically, you
Mhm.
that energy you pull up into probably the next to, the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. So she's like, even she was like 9/11, for example. We were all walking around shocked and with
Mm.
our root chakra in the wrong, like just pulled into our body. And so I think,
That's a really interesting example.
yeah, we talk about grounding tons in previous episodes. So, obviously listen to the past 25 episodes if you want to hear more. But it's just a good reminder, even if you're walking through your day and something jumps out and scares you, like reground yourself,
Reground.
like for real. Because I feel like it could be a cumulative problem if you're just like getting freaked out and untethered. It's like kind of can compound. Oh, wait. One thing that I wanted to talk about was like anxiety is a common cause of solar plexus pain. So when I'm talking about like, how when I was talking, I think in the last episode about how I have such a brain body connection when something makes me nervous, or even my brain just barely
Mhm.
puts a toe in a thought about something that makes me anxious. I feel it.
It drops in
I
your
just
gut.
feel it
Yeah.
right in my solar plexus. It's just like, bleh. So I'm
Uh-huh.
wondering if I can continue to like balance that energy, if I will be less likely to just like hit right there. It's not a pleasant
I'm sure.
feeling, but it is just the
No.
having that awareness. So fucking weird. Okay, but solar plexus and manifestation. This is the fun stuff. Like if you have like an aligned solar plexus, you can make magic happen.
Right, that makes sense because, like you were saying before, um, and I think I also read that your intuition is actually comes from your solar plexus, which I guess is one of the reasons that you're like, "I just feel it in my gut,"
Mhm.
but then you get to see it through your third eye.
Mm. Yeah, like that relationship. But do you think that like culminates in like better manifestation? Like, is that how that works?
I mean, like, why not? I mean, I feel like if you're in alignment with your intuition, you know what you need or what you want to manifest.
Yeah. Here's one thing too about manifestation. I mean, if you are harboring like secret like doubt or secret scarcity
Mm, yeah.
or like feelings in there, like emotions of lack or the lack of the ability to, you know, make money, or that gonna come out in your manifesting.
Yeah, totally. Well, you
Like
can't manifest,
you
or that's what you do manifest.
or yes, you will manifest what's in there. So clean it up.
Poop.
Find some balance. Plus, you'll feel better. Okay, so here's the something super fun. It's called the golden net.
Yes.
And like last year, I met this lovely friend who lives in New Mexico. Her name is Sarah, and she told me this story that I called her and was like, "Hey, can you tell the golden net story? Because I could maybe play it on the podcast." So I'm just gonna play her golden net story for you, and it's all about using this envisioning tool with your solar plexus and its manifestation power to bring things to you.
Okay.
Here's how I learned about using the golden net. I was traveling in Peru about 10 years ago. And when I first got into the country, I was given a piece of paper that was a travel document. And I folded it up and stuck it inside my passport so I wouldn't lose it. In the first half of my trip, I was in the Amazon rainforest and I didn't really need it and sort of forgot about it. The second half of my trip, I was flying from Lima to Cusco to travel around the Sacred Valley. When I got to Cusco, I was spending the evening with a friend of mine, and she was talking to me about going to different sites and mentioned this travel document and said, make sure you have it. So I looked around for it and realized I couldn't find it. And I remembered that when I checked into my flight in Lima, I knew I had it. It was in my passport. So they had never given it back to me at the flight check-in in Lima. And now I'm already in Cusco. So I was like, what am I going to do? Oh no. And the very next day, I was starting a 4-day trek to Machu Picchu. So I was going to be out trekking. I wasn't even going to be able to deal with this. And my friend told me I wouldn't get into Machu Picchu without it. So I called the airlines and they weren't very helpful, though they did suggest I go to the airport the next day. I told my friend and I had no expectation. She told me to use the golden net. I had never heard of it and never done anything like it, and definitely thought it's not going to hurt anything, so I'll give it a try. She told me to wrap a golden net around the travel document, add a golden cord, and attach that golden cord to my solar plexus, and then pull it in to my solar plexus. Okay, so I did it, and again, I had no expectation because I've never done anything like this before. And actually, I was quite dejected because I was pretty sure I wouldn't be able to take my trek to Machu Picchu. Anyway, so we get up the next day and I go to the airport and I had no idea what to do. I don't speak any other languages. The airport's a little bit small and I just couldn't really find much help. So I found myself standing at an arrivals gate of the airline that I had just flown. Everybody was coming off the plane and finally 2 flight attendants, the last people off the plane, were walking towards me and about to walk past me and suddenly stopped, looked over at me and handed me a piece of paper and kept walking. They didn't even say anything. I looked at the piece of paper and it was my travel document. I mean, come on, how does that happen? I golden netted it. That's all I can say. The golden net works.
That's insane.
I know.
Oh, I love it.
She told me that story. I was like, what? Okay, how do you do that? So this happened and I was like, okay, I'm putting that story in my back pocket. And so I told my sister about it because she lost her wallet on a train. And she was like, what am I going to do? And she's like traveling around Europe because she lives in Italy. So I tell her this. And I was like, envision a golden net coming out of your solar plexus, put your wallet inside it and bring it to you. Okay. So this is my sister's version after I told her this story because I was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. This is all I got. This is my sister. I was in Rome visiting a friend with my 2 children. We were about to go back to my friend's apartment and get our bags and catch the train back to Florence. It started to rain, so we jumped on a bus. The bus was packed tight with people, and we were being pushed and swayed with the turns of the bus. I had my backpack purse on my shoulders, but since the zipper was on the top, when we turned, the backpack zipper folded in half. I didn't think a thief could unzip it. Needless to say, I was wrong. When the man behind me yelled to a friend in the back of the bus to get off and they both ran, I put my hand behind me to find the zipper open. Everything was there except my wallet. I panicked and started to breathe heavily. We got off the bus at the next stop and my friend ran back to see if she could find them or if they tossed the wallet. She didn't find it. I canceled most of my cards immediately and waited for her to get back. The poor thief, I only had €5 in my wallet. I had a feeling I would get my wallet back. And when talking to my sister Suki, she suggested imagining casting out a golden net, and every time I thought about my wallet, see the net bringing it closer and closer to me. On the train back to Florence, I walked my 2 children and myself through this visualization. Oh, she added the kids. Every time I thought about it, I saw the wallet getting closer to me. The next evening, on my way home from work, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I answered, and they asked if it was me. The man had found my wallet on the street in Rome moments before. When I suggested giving it to my friend who lives in Rome, he said that his colleague that was with him, who lives in Florence could bring it back to me 2 days later. I was beside myself. Not only was my wallet found, but it actually came to me without much trouble. 2 days later, I met the man in my town, and he gave me my wallet and refused compensation.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know. It's so good.
It's so good. Now, here's my question. Can you only do it with shit you've lost, or can you get stuff? I'm going to try.
Oh, no. I think you can certainly bring things to you.
Okay.
I mean, I love it for things that you've lost, but
those are excellent
try
stories.
it out.
I'm
I
going
know.
to. I love it.
And I was so grateful to Sarah that she told me her golden net story so that I could pass it on to my sister.
Yeah, that's amazing. And now you all have
It's
this
crazy.
tool.
I know. So I can't wait to hear your golden net stories.
All right. On it. So before we wrap up, I am super insanely excited because I am moving my studio to a new space that happens to be connected to the building I live in, which means I can access it without the need of somebody driving me. And so the camera and my healing studio are gonna have a new home in February. And I am so insanely thrilled about this. Like, it makes me want to puke. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's freedom.
It's massive.
You can commute.
So I'm super excited, and I have so many great, amazing ideas, and yeah, it's going to be great. So that's my new exciting news.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so awesome.
I'm real.
And you'll be able to like take more clients all the time
Totally.
when you're not traveling.
Oh my God, I know.
Or in-person clients.
Yep, totally. I'm so excited. So yeah,
That's
I
rad.
know. So that's the most exciting. And that's all I got.
2024 is off to a good start.
I'm feeling it.
Did you want to do like 2 seconds on 2024 astrology?
I'd rather do it for the next one, because nothing. Nothing.
Okay,
is gonna. Nothing that we have to know about is happening before the next recording.
Before we release the next episode. Okay, we'll make sure to talk about some 2024 astrology in the next episode and leave this one. We'll leave you to golden net.
Yeah, it's awesome. Happy golden netting. All right.
Happy solar plexus aligning, friends.
Totes.
Don't be a pussy.
Oh my God. Pussies are very strong and flexible, and everyone loves them. It's not true, but a lot of people love them. So I think, like, don't be a limp dick. Nobody likes a limp dick. No one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so leaving it with that.
Apologies.
Done.
Apologies in advance.
Leaving this shit in. Okay. Bye. See ya when you get home.
Okay.
Miss ya. Love ya.
It's been fun. Bye. Love you too.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so that you never miss a new episode. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving a review to help the other psychics find their way here.